Laura Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hello. If you can hear me, see me, give me a thumbs up. Say hello to me. Good morning. First trading day of December, and it's certainly kicking off with a bang. And I want to talk about all of it with you. So make sure you give me a thumbs up. Let me know that the audio visual looks good. I think everything looks good. Hello to my friends on X, on Instagram, on YouTube. I see you all streaming in. And we've got so much to talk about. But first, did you have a nice Thanksgiving? I hope you did if you celebrate Thanksgiving, or at least the long weekend for those of you that trade NASDAQ or gold. U.S. markets were closed, so things were a lot quieter. The one market that wasn't so quiet, though, was Bitcoin, which we will talk about because there were some very, very big moves in Bitcoin. But overall, I hope you had a nice weekend. It was my birthday, so I had a week full of eating, and I think that, I definitely need to be on some serious dieting before we get to Christmas. But thank you all for joining me this morning. It sounds like you all are doing great. If you're brand new here, let me know that this is your first time with us, because we always like to pay a little bit more attention to your questions and, what's kind of moving the markets. And if you do not know, I like this to be an interactive session because I love, getting you all involved to make sure that you know what is moving the markets. All right. So thank you so much, Fred, for the birthday wishes. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, Usi from Chicago. Karen, there is so much going on in the markets. And I put out this article, which I'll go through later, on the top things to watch in December, the 7 top things to watch in the month of December. But just today, this week, we've got our 7 things to watch. It's definitely kicking off with some volatility. And that's what we are going to talk about. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my screen, because I like to write out the top drivers of the markets. So give me a second. I'm going to share with you my screen. 1 second. Do you guys like it black? Do you like it white? What do you prefer? I generally prefer white, but sometimes, it looks better. Some of you told me that you like the black. Do you like black, white? Let's see what it looks like when we say top 7 things to watch this.
I like black, Kay.
All right. Boris likes black. We've got like 50-50 here. So for now, we're going to keep it on black. You want to see gold? We can look at gold. Yes, gold is shooting up. Let's remove our indicators for now. Okay. So top 7 things to watch this week. You guys are going to help me fill up my list of 7 things to watch this week. So start piling away. Let's see. You know how I love to get you involved. What are the top 7 things we're going to be talking about today and this week? Just fire away, and you're going to help me build out the chart. We can start by talking about what's moving the markets today. What are the biggest market movers today? You can see my watch list on the right-hand side. What is the thing that is moved the most on a percentage basis? You guys are doing well with the PMI, PCE. We're going to put it on there, but that's not what I want to talk about first. What is the one thing that is the biggest percentage change today that everyone is talking about? Come on, you guys got to know. You go on CNBC.com, you go on Bloomberg.com. It's the biggest story this morning. Let's see if it's the biggest story. I'm actually guessing. I know. Yeah, it's the biggest story. There's something here. CNBC.com is definitely talking about it. Come on. Thank you, my friends. Thank you, Monica. Sorry, Monica. BTC. BTC. Not all of you trade BTC, but BTC is Bitcoin is down a whopping 5%. What is going on? If you look on the CNBC story, they say they have no idea. They say these experts who are paid millions of dollars to give you their opinion and analyze the markets have no idea why Bitcoin is down 5% and there's $700 million in liquidation. I say the answer is simple. The answer is very simple because it's in the rest of the markets. And it's in some of the things that you guys are talking about. It's because stock futures are down. Gold, which some of you want to talk about, and we will talk about, is up 1%, almost 1%. Now, my friend over here, the second thing, silver. Silver is at a record high. Silver, record high. That's another big thing to watch. The fact that stock futures are down, gold is up, Bitcoin's down, silver is at a record high. All of this tells us the exact same story, which is that it's a risk off day in the markets. It's a liquidation day. It's a risk aversion. If you are not new and you have attended my sessions in the past, you will know that I talk a lot about how a lot of money was made this year in the bull market. And as we wind down, as we head into a lot of this uncertainty that is happening, you know, it would only be smart if I was a hedge fund manager, or I've got, you know, a mutual fund manager, to bank those profits, to lock them in, because I'm only measured by my banked profits, not my floating profits year to date, or return, my banked return, not my floating return. So let's lock that in, make sure this is a good year, so at least our 5-year average, 3-year average, regardless of what happens next year, the 5-year average, 3-year average is going to look good. So I think that everything that we're seeing is a result of risk aversion in the market. So silver is at a record high. Gold is up nearly 1%. And so, you know, this move will probably continue, because if you put yourself into the shoes of a mutual fund manager, a hedge fund manager, and the stock market has had fantastic gains this year, would you, you know, kind of lock them in and just go in preservation mode and hope that this good number that you made in 2025 will give your 3-year average or 5-year average a nice little cushion in case next year is bad? I mean, if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you're like, no, let's keep going. If I was a mutual fund manager, I'm going to keep pressing it, keep trading, keep trying to get those returns, give me a thumbs down. So I want to see thumbs up for locking in profits time, or thumbs down for let's keep going and at least keep trying to make that money. Got to remember, a lot of these funds, especially mutual funds, are long only. They really don't have a choice. And I think, you know, many of you will agree with me. Number 3, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. You guys are so smart. John, thank you so much. I know you weren't the only one. Someone else earlier, Paolo, my regulars, you guys are on top of this. Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. Believe it or not, Black Friday sales are a record high according to Adobe Analytics. I think it's hard to believe that Black Friday is a record high. I was at a mall this weekend and it definitely was not that busy for Black Friday. And it should have been a lot busier. And I hear that replicated in a couple of other malls, but clearly people are spending online. And people are saying that the AI search engines are drumming up sales. That's kind of hard for me to believe. I mean, either people want to spend or they don't want to spend. I don't think the AI search function is going to make it any more or less spending. You know, you're either intended to buy that, you know, Alexa, or what, I have no idea what you're buying, but you either intended to buy that thing or you didn't intend to buy that thing. I don't think AI search engine is going to make you more or less likely to buy. Go ahead, Boris.
Yeah, I was at Garden State Plaza, which is the dominant mall in Jersey, and it was busy. So I think what's happening is that you have a K-shaped economy where the top 20% is still spending tremendously, and since that is 80% of the whole spend, is probably why it's weighing on the Christmas sales. So you could make the argument that most of the population is not participating in the spend, but the top 20% is, and that's what's driving the record sales.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, but I certainly don't think, from what I'm reading, they're attributing it to AI search. And I firmly do not believe it's due to AI search. Like I said, you either intended to buy that new TV or you did not. It's, doesn't affect where you're, how you're searching to get to the best results.
Yeah,
but like Boris said, it's probably true. But regardless, the number is there. Black Friday sales were record. And that is usually indicative of Cyber Monday sales. So those numbers are good, which is probably why stock futures right now are not down as much as you would think. But, stock futures are down, and we are getting good Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. What else? Someone else, my good friends, all of you are getting so smart. Increase in interest rate cut bets from Tony. Who else is saying interest rate cuts? Fed. I think Tony may be the only one. Maybe I'm missing out. But yes, rate cut bets, Fed, rate cut bets rise. Not by much. I think it was like 84% on Friday, 87% now. But Fed rate cut bets are rising. And that is something you've got to watch, because lower interest rates, I'm going to say this very slowly, lower interest rates is good for gold. And it's part of the reason why gold is up, part of the reason why silver is up, because you have lower interest rates. It's driving down the US dollar, which is driving up gold. And so Fed rate cut bets is driving the dollar down. And there's still more data to watch this week from the US. Some of you were very savvy. ADP, PCE. I love the interaction because it tells me that you guys are absorbing this and you're understanding how to make sense of fundamentals, which is the point of all this. So yes, we have ISMs, we have ADP, we have jobless claims, we have PCE, we have Powell, although I don't think we have Powell. I think we're in Fed speak, Fed quiet period. Let's double check on the calendar. I kind of feel like we don't have Powell this week. Oh, we do. We have Powell tonight, but I don't think he's going to talk about interest rates at all. And then we have the UMich confidence. We can leave Powell in here because we should at least pay attention to it if in case, but I don't think he's going to say anything impactful. So that's 5 things. Let's keep going. What else is there going on this week? Okay, we have also Eurozone inflation data. Eurozone inflation data is very, very important. Euro is up for the 6th day in a row. And so it's up for the 6th day in a row. And, if inflation is hot, that's going to drive Euro up further. If it's cool, it's going to take some of the rally, ease some of the rally. But this is not the story today. I mean, it's not the story this week. Eurozone inflation is important, but 1 to 5, and 1 is really a reflection of risk off, is going to be the main drivers of things to watch. And as lots of you are saying, it is the quiet periods. I certainly don't think Powell's going to say anything. We're also on the watch for the possibility of the nomination of who Trump is going to nominate for the next Fed chair. I don't know if that's going to happen this week or not, but of course, we've got to watch it. Number 7, Japan, yen. Yen is down almost 1% this morning. It's the biggest move we've seen. Dollar yen's down almost 1%. Biggest move we've seen in a while. Now, we did not get, on a flip over dollar yen chart quickly, we did not get Japanese government intervention at all. This is like a 130-point move lower in dollar yen. If we had intervention, it would be like something like this. A really big candle, a much bigger candle lower, faster moves. But if you see on a 15-minute chart basis, the yen moves were kind of gradual. There was this looks like it's big, but really, maybe it's like 50 points. What's going on here? Why in the world are we finally seeing dollar yen pull back? And it's the only way for the Japanese to drive up the value of the yen and drive down dollar yen on a lasting basis would be interest rate hikes. Intervention, usually the movement is very short-lived. It does not last very long. So it really is BOJ hike. And as SBK so accurately points out, and I love you guys so much because you're making my job easy. You're in there, you're letting me know that you know what's moving the markets. And yes, BOJ governor speaking, and the odds for a Bank of Japan December interest rate hike has jumped from like 60% last week to like 80% today. So we've got something going on here, my friends. Let's talk about it. Fed bets 87% for a cut. Let's move this over. BOJ bets 80% for a hike. Dun, dun, dun. What does this mean for dollar yen? I mean, dollar yen, which was trading at its highest level in 9 months, which is still, it doesn't sound like a lot, but historically, it's, the 9-month high is even higher than what it is. But what does this mean? What do you think you should be doing? What do you think you should be doing on a fundamental basis if you're trading dollar yen? Which way should you be leaning? Yes. Come on, more than Fred knows. Fred is not the only one who knows what this means for dollar yen. Fred says dollar yen down. For trading says sell. Yes. You guys are all absolutely right. Now, I always like to say that expectations is very, very important. Like what's pricing in the markets, how we're sitting, things like that. The fact that we have not yet seen the liquidation in dollar yen yet, that it is coming off its highs. This is still very elevated. If we look at the weekly chart, we are still hovering at very elevated levels on a weekly chart. If we go to expand out, these levels, are still near the highest levels since 2022. So really high levels, and we've just begun to fall. So that means that there is plenty of more room to fall if liquidation continues, because we have complete divergence between what the Fed is planning to do and what the BOJ is planning to do. Now, yes, sounds like an easy trade. Looks like it's an easy trade. And I think in some ways there is a window of opportunity where it is an easy trade. But you've got to be careful, because the Fed could flip the other way easily, meaning that, the market thinks there's an 87% chance of a cut because of something Williams said. But Cyber Monday sales are good. If the rest of the data this week is good, if we get more good data, that could change quickly. You have all seen how this could change quickly with me. And most importantly, when the Federal Reserve meets, they could cut or they could not cut. Even if they cut, they could do nothing, say that they're in wait and see mode, maybe they're done. Or maybe they don't cut. And so all of that could easily, while it may be an easy trade to the downside, there's like a nice window of opportunity to the downside, that may not last long. And so you got to be careful. So right now, until we get anything to tell us otherwise, I think that dollar yen is going to move lower. I think we could easily see it in the 153.50 region here, and maybe even 153 before this whole uptrend is broken, because you can see that this is where we broke out to the upside. Hold on. Oh gosh, my lines went black. So yeah, this is where we broke up to the upside, broke out, retraced, then broke out to the upside. So this is support. 153 around 35 is support in dollar yen. It could easily come down, but as Fred says, some of my, my smart people, if the cut ends up being a hawkish one, it could go the other way. But the Federal Reserve meeting is not until it's not next week, it's the following week. So we've got time. So there could be opportunity to the downside. When is the Fed meeting? All of you should be subscribing to Prop Trader Edge. Make sure you put in your email. I'm writing articles there now. If you guys loved what I used to do in the past for Daily Effects, we're writing articles here. But it's basically the Fed meeting. Sorry, it is next week. The Fed meeting is next week. So these are the dates for December that you should be watching. So today we're getting Black Friday. We had Black Friday results. Cyber Monday results will probably come out tomorrow. Next week, we've got the Federal Reserve rate decision. It's not just the Federal Reserve rate decision. We've got the economic projections, the dot plot, and Powell's press conference. And I write about how, what could happen and what it could mean for the markets. So So yes, this week we could have an easy trade to the downside, but as we get as we got to assess the data that's coming out this week, and then the December 9-10 rate decision is really when things could turn around. So before we go through the rest of the list, let's go back to the list that we are building. So Japan, yen, BOJ rate hike bets are skyrocketing. That is the 7 things to watch. We actually have a bonus for my FX traders. AU GDP, Australian third quarter GDP, that's coming out. Unlike some of the other central banks, Australia is pretty much done for the year. So no more changes in interest rates are expected. But we have the GDP number, so that's going to be important. Their jobs report when they last released was very good. We also have Canada jobs. Canada jobs data is also very important on Friday. So these are the top 8 things. So we're going to say the top 8 things that you need to be watching this week alone, which is Bitcoin liquidation. How much more can it go? Usually when the selling, Bitcoin's a very speculative asset. So when we have selling, it can cascade very quickly. And many of you may not be trading Bitcoin, but what I do want to say is that, many of you probably do agree with me and believe that stocks are probably going to correct further. And that, but the movements in stocks have been slow because people don't really know what's going on. Whereas you may believe that we're going to have maybe some risk aversion, risk off flows into year end. And that could perhaps be best expressed through Bitcoin. Now, you don't want to trade this in your wallets because, your wallet capital could be completely erased. But, if we look at if you look at the BK meters, you will see that we are, the BK trend meters, we are bearish on a daily 4-hour, 1-hour basis. Although on a very short-term basis, it seems like we're seeing some stabilization in Bitcoin. So, if you want to take a view on risk appetite on Bitcoin, the best way to do it is also through prop. And so we definitely recommend breakout prop, Kraken backed. Kraken's invested in Breakout. It's their prop firm. And, if you got a Kraken wallet, you can easily trade this. If you do use the code BKSAVE and you send us your receipt, it will not only give you a discount, but we will give you access to our BK trend meters, which show you can see the 1 hour just turned from red to green, and on the 5-minute basis. And so it is starting to find a little bit of stabilization. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold, if we've got our BK trend meter, still very bullish, but on some of the short-term meters, on a 5-minute basis, we're seeing the 5 SMA, 20 SMA, 50 SMA, 100 SMA start to turn negative, which indicates at least today, maybe we've seen the max of the rally that we'll see in gold. So we talked about this week. The rest of the month, there's still a lot going on. So this week, we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. Next week, we've got the Federal Reserve rate decision and the dot plot. And then the following week, we're going to have the non-farm payrolls report. It's not, as you all know, it's supposed to be released the first Friday of the month, which is supposed to be this Friday. But we're not getting it this Friday because, the government shutdown is still distorting all the data and everything else that is going on. And so as a result, the non-farm payrolls report is going to be released on December 16th. And so December 16th is actually a Tuesday, not a Friday. I'll stay on top of all of this to make sure if anything changes that which is another reason why you should subscribe, like, and follow our channels on X, on Instagram, on everywhere. In case these dates change, I will let you know. So December 16th, we've got non-farm payrolls. And then the 18th, we've got the inflation report. That said, though, all of this is a little less important, right, my friends, because this comes after the December rate decision. But I think all of you know that, when it comes to December rate decision, it is the guidance that's key. It's not just what they do, but it's the guidance. If they say they're still not sure, if they don't cut and they say maybe we do in January, this becomes much more important. Even if they cut and they say they're done, this is still very important because the market may not have decided that, may not agree that is what is happening. So, yes, 16, 18. And we also have tax loss harvesting, window dressing, Funds selling underperforming stocks to lock in tax losses. Also just taking profits, strong motivation to take profits year end happening throughout the course of this month. Triple witching. Who doesn't know what triple witching is? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want me to explain triple witching. If you don't, I'm going to move on. If you don't, I'm going to give you 1 second to tell me whether you want me to explain triple witching or not. Otherwise, we will move on. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys know. Okay. Glad wants me to explain it. Anybody else? Anybody else wants me to explain triple witching? Raise your hand. All right, Fran, asking. Great. I'm going to bring Boris in. Boris is going to help us explain triple witching. Boris, first of all, triple witching is every third Friday of December brings the simultaneous expiration of stock options, index, and index futures. So, Boris, you want to share your thoughts on this?
So triple witching can be very volatile because you have huge bunch of unwinding positions in stock index futures, in stock options, and in stock index options, especially the S&P options. And depending how everybody is positioned, you could have lots of wild swings, especially in the last half hour of the session. I will say this, though.
Are you saying 4 o'clock? So basically 3:30 or the London?
Yeah,
It's also the London. Does the London session matter? Or London close or no?
No, it's all New York based because everything settles at 4 o'clock New York. It actually settles at 4:15 New York for the options. But I will say this, that with the advent of 0-day expiry options, where everybody is now trading same-day expiry options, a huge amount of volatility has been taken out of the triple witching. It has not been nearly as volatile as it used to be because that used to be the only game in town. But now every single day is essentially an expiry day because of zero DTEs. And I think it's not as big an issue now as it used to be. So I would keep that in mind.
Okay. So basically what Boris is telling us is that, triple witching can lead to sudden spikes in volatility and sudden intraday reversals. Typically just affects the last 30 minutes of trade. So most of you, if you're in Europe and other parts of the world, you're probably asleep by then. You don't want to worry. You don't need to worry about that. But that day, you will see that it'll be talked about all over CNBC, Bloomberg, Market Watch. They're going to talk about triple witching on December 19th, and you need to be aware of it. And then, of course, the very end of the month is the seasonal Santa Claus rally. The final 5 trading days of December and the first 2 trading days of January make up the Santa Claus rally. Historically, the S&P rises 1.3% on average during the 7-day period. And let me see. And typically, it is, a period when everyone's talking about the possibility of, I don't know what you sent me, Boris. I'm just zooming here and here. But here. So 1.3% on average during the 7-day period with a win rate, I guess, when you buy on, I have no idea what you're sending me, Boris. But anyway, so basically, if you buy on the first 5, the 24th, and you hold it to the second trading day of January, it's got a 76 to 80% win rate. Now, with all of this stuff, you take it with a grain of salt when it comes to Santa Claus rally, but, it's worked pretty well. And you do have to be a little careful because it is, we had a very strong year, but December overall has an average return of 2.3%. The reason why this happens is a lot to do with taxes. You have year-end bonuses, people are flowing to the market, also early tax loss harvesting, removing selling pressure. Also, traders may be putting some of their money into the markets. Fund managers may be adding to winners to portfolios. It can be a very powerful factor in your trade. And that's why, it's very important. It's also important to just remember it because if you're trading, what are the forces? You want to go with the tide, not against it. You want to go with the surf, not against it. And if you know that the surf for the last week of the trading year is going to be up in the dollar, then, up in stocks, and maybe you want to look for opportunities to buy. If you see your setups telling you to buy, that's when you want to maybe hold on to a nicer position. If your setups are telling you to sell, Maybe take a smaller one position during this time because, because the tide of the market, the waves of the ocean are not going in your favor in the last week of the year. So this is how you can use this to your advantage or to your understanding, because you may not know that that if I didn't tell you, but maybe you do, because everyone talks about the Santa Claus rally, but maybe you don't know about triple witching. But the point is that the way you use this information is that if your setup, your technical setup tells you to sell in the Santa Claus rally period, take a smaller position or pass on it, or go look for other confirmations, either in the form of our SMA EMA meter. We have one for SMA, we have one for EMA. This is completely customizable. You can change it to whatever SMAs, EMAs, whatever time frames that you want, put it on your chart, and you have this forever. But if it tells you to buy, maybe you want to get a slightly larger position or gives you more confidence for the position. This is how you use seasonal information. You don't just buy on December 24th and sell on January 2nd. That's typically not the way that you do it. Boris just put on a link. Yes, there's a ton of today's the last day of a lot of these prop firm deals. Think Capital, 40% off. They are broker backed. CFD, our number one CFD and Forex prop firm for US traders. You can trade on TradingView. They have demo accounts. No, I don't know any other prop firm that gives a free demo account. So they let you try their platform out before you even do it. You can trade on TradingView, save 40%. You got to use this link. The code to use is BF241 for 40%, but you got to click on this link. And then after you do that, you can send us your receipt, and then we'll give you the SMA EMA meter. Same thing with Blueberry Funded, 45% off, also broker backed. Axie Select, always free. We always say that we recommend them. Breakout Prop, if you want to trade with crypto, they have no time limit. So if you just want to trade a little crypto and then, leave the account alone and then trade it later on, there's no time limits. There's no high water marks. They are the fairest crypto prop trading firm because they're also cracking back. So they don't offer any discounts. 2% is the best you'll get. BK Save, and you also get the BK meters. Also, Apex, 80% off, still happening right now. BK Save, but the BK meters only come with Think Capital, Blueberry, Breakout, or Axie. So make sure you take advantage of the last minute deals from these companies.
Also, right. just to let you guys know, for anybody who's using Think or basically anybody who's using Think, the BFF indicator is on TradingView. Since they're a TradingView primarily prop firm, you can use that on TradingView if you're part of my coaching session. So just letting you guys know, you can trade that really nicely on that.
And everyone should be subscribing to our Prop Trader Edge newsletter, because articles like this, like the December top risks, are the things that you will get. We talked about Japan's FX intervention risk. We've also got great stories from traders, things like that. So make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. All right, now let's look at the charts. So we've built our top 8 things to watch this week. If you go back to the replay, you'll see it. This is this week alone, not just December's got even more things going on. But this week alone, these are the top 8 things that you need to watch. So I'm going to move this over here. And what's going on technically? The SMA meter is basically a measure of the moving averages. Gold, very strong uptrend. We're above this high here. Now, the short-term meters are turning a little bit negative. You'll see that. Let me put my SMA meter back on. But you'll see that it is turning a little bit. And you can also, I'm going to move this. You can move this to wherever you want. I'm going to move this to the bottom right. Actually, no, let's move this to the top left. And you will see. Actually, top left is not good. We'll go bottom right. You will see that gold is very much in the uptrend, but the short-term signals are starting to turn negative. So I think that's the max that we'll see on the move today. Because if you look at the 5-minute chart, look, we're already below a lot of these moving averages. This is what the SMA meter tells you. Tells you that, look, red alert. That's why it's red. It's no longer so bullish on the short-term basis. Now it looks like on a short-term basis, it wants to get to the 200 SMA, which is at 42.40. But anyway, on a daily chart, uptrend is still bullish. Cup and handle formation looks like it's forming which is looking quite bullish. We could pull back a little bit today, maybe to the 5 SMA, and then I still think it's going to target this move here. Now, NASDAQ, I know many of you trade NASDAQ. We're going to roll into live trading the NASDAQ in just a little bit, but you can see SMA meter all over the place. We're still bullish, but the market's not so sure. We're holding the 25 SMA cross, which actually is a very strong positive signal. So I think there still could be a little bit of bounce afterwards, but it's not looking as good. And Boris will shed his light on this when you guys move into live trading. Eurodollar. Eurodollar, 6 straight days of gains, but we're stopping right at the 100 SMA. 100 SMA is important, but the short-term meters, 5, 15, and 1 hour, are not really that bearish. And I want to point this out, only 2 of these are red. So it shows you it's holding the 50. Only 2 is red. 15 minutes, still holding. 1 hour, still holding. The fact that only 1 of these are red still tells me that the uptrend is intact and we could still get some more gains in Eurodollar. Dollar yen, one of the biggest movers to the downside today. It's quite a bit lower. We talked about how it can get to this gray line here, which is where we formerly had a breakout. It's like, it's whatever this high here is, 153.30, let's say. And so it's still looking bearish. It tried to stabilize, but the 5-minute is still quite bearish. And so I still think that it is a sell on rallies at this stage. Dollar Swiss, bearish, not as bearish, but still, it's a dollar story. So I think it's going to continue to move lower. Dollar CAD, also look at all this red. And even though the 5-minute is turning a little bit, green, I think that this inside candle I still think it's going to move lower and I still think it's going to test the 200 SMA. Sterling is interesting. UK data has been terrible, but sterling has still been, rebounding last week, mostly on anti-US dollar flows. Also seems like seems like investors were satisfied with the budget or relieved that the budget wasn't worse than expected. Whatever it is, it is still bullish, but I'm a little worried about the fact that in the 1D basis, 50, 100, 200, we're still below there. So we're not super bullish. And I think if one's going to correct, it's going to be pound more aggressively than the others. Aussie, on the other hand, look at this. 1D, 4 hour, 1 hour, all green. These are red, but it's only 2. We'll have to see if these turn red. But right now, still looking good to the upside for Aussie dollar. Still looking like we go head up to the 66.20 region. And as I said, Australia is one of the few central banks that's done with cutting interest rates. Kiwi, a bit more negative than Aussie for sure. And these highs are getting smaller. These candles are getting smaller. It definitely looks less bullish than Aussie. We don't have too much going on for Kiwi this week. But I do think, the risk is probably it's probably a little bit more to the upside, but also probably a little bit of underperformance in Kiwi as well. So that's basically what we are looking at. And as I said, we've got 7 events to watch this week, lots of moving parts. Make sure you subscribe to Prop Trader Edge, to our social channels to stay on top of that. All the discounts and the codes and the links that you should be using, you need to use the links that are clicked here to take advantage of getting the SMA EMA meters. This is the SMA meter. We've got the BK EMA meter as well. Sorry, I'm just going to go EMA meter. Here, EMA meter. So we've got the EMA meter as well. And, that gives you all of the insight into everything. So, you've got all the information that you need. Any questions that you have for me? Boris is going to roll into live trading. I'm sure you guys are really excited about that. Any questions?
Ray just signed up for Breakout Trader,
Yeah.
so very nice. We'll take care of Ray.
Yes.
Anybody else?
As I said, we don't really, we're not active in crypto, but I really like Breakout because they are cracking back. So it's obviously a legitimate firm. They have no time limits. They do on-demand payouts. They got a great reputation, but you don't have to trade it all the time. You can buy it. There's no reoccurring fees. There's no consistency rule or anything. So it can be like a side thing. If you want to dabble in crypto, you got to do it in prop because the wallets, you could lose your whole thing. But in prop, these things cost nothing. I don't want to say nothing because obviously money is important to everyone. But, 2-step $50, 1-step $60. You know, it can be very, very affordable. And so use BK Save for 2% off, which is the only discount they
That's
offer.
really cheap for one step. Actually, it's a really cheap for one step
So you can
because
take. Would you rather lose?
Most one steps are at least $100.
Like, of course, I hope that you win, right? But we always talk about the worst case. Would you rather lose $60 or $50, or do you or you want to expose the entire $2,000 that you have in your crypto wallet? No one wants to expose the whole $2,000 in the crypto wallet. You rather have a view in crypto and risk 50 or $60. But also because they have, you know, you can get funded in one trade. There's no consistency or anything. And so this is a really great way. If you got a good view in Bitcoin, it's moving fast. You want to take a view, this is a great way to
take if you bet short today on Bitcoin, you would have been funded in one trade, no problem. It would have
really
been easy.
Good question by our friend here. Could there still be an intervention play in dollar yen? Not so much over here, because we are kind of below 155. I don't think they're really that alert. But if this starts to perk up, if the Fed is a hawkish cut and dollar yen's back up in this region here, that becomes more of an intervention play. But below 155, I don't think it's so much of an intervention risk. Any other questions? All right. There's a lot going on in the markets, so make sure that you keep on top of this. We also, Boris, I forgot to mention, we also have a Black Friday deal. We're talking.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I'm going to put the link in, guys. This is your absolute, literally last chance. A lot of people are taking advantage of it right now. It's just everything you're getting slammed with the orders. The reason why is because the Black Friday deal that we have is super rare.
Where's the link for? Did you put the link up?
Yeah, it's in the thing. Do you guys see
it?
it?
I see it. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Okay, pull it up. It's super rare because this is the only time we're literally letting you have a chance to the lifetime, not like 1 year, not 2 years, but lifetime subscription to both Zip and BFF, plus a super, super inexpensive upgrade to get Zip and BFF coaching. Which is really valuable once you get the upgrades. When you get the 1-2 combination, it really puts you in just a driver's seat and be able to work the props, work your own account, work Forex, work futures, work CFDs, everything. And I'm hoping that you guys can take advantage of it because this is going to go away when today. Okay, I think today.
Yeah,
no,
it's
tomorrow.
not just that, Boris. It includes my brand new market timing course. And we talk a lot about the importance of market timing all of the time. And so I put together a full course on market timing, how to trade all the different times, how to trade the high volatility windows, the dead zones. It also includes our quick trend meters, SMA, EMA, so lifetime Zip, lifetime BFF, but you also get the market timing course as well as the quick trend meters, everything for life.
Don't they also get your VIP market calls? So that's another.
You get to attend my VIP sessions. They're not every single day. Along with my fundamental heat map, as well as our calendar. And then you want to talk about the EAs, Boris?
The EAs are really good. I've actually improved them a little bit. These are one-click. If you're trading MetaTrader 5, MetaTrader 4, these are super, super useful EAs that help you buy, sell with a stop target, move positions when they're in profit, half to break even, do all sorts of, change stops and targets on the fly after you're in the trade. All of this is incredibly tedious and very difficult to do in MetaTrader by itself. But I've gotten it down to literally like a point and click structure, which is very, very cool. So you guys will really, really enjoy it.
All right. Okay, so take a look at everything that we talked about today, and I'll leave it to Boris to fire away with live trading.
Okay, awesome, guys. Hi, guys. What are EAs? EAs are, it's called expert advisor in MetaTrader. If you don't know what they are, they probably won't be of any use to you. It's designed for MetaTrader 5, MetaTrader 4 traders who want to use robots to help amplify their trading. So this is really for people who are very heavy into MetaTrader 5, MetaTrader 4, which is, you know, still a very dominant platform, especially when you're trading Forex. That's what everybody trades. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I'm actually going to upload, I redid all of the one-click traders over the Thanksgiving weekend to make it even better. So I'm gonna upload those and let you guys play around with it. Oh, I forgot. And it also has something called a kill switch. So, for example, you can say to yourself, I only want to lose $200. That's it. I'm gonna trade Forex today, but if my account goes down by $200, I don't want to trade anymore. And what it does is you can self-select the amount of money you're willing to sort of, you know, control yourself. And then once it hits that, the EA won't let you trade. It just, like, every button just says, you know, suspended for 24 hours. It gives you a natural pause, which is really, really nice for those that want to have that. Anyways, it's all cool. It's all part of the Profit Tools Max. It's the only way you're going to be able to get all this stuff. Go out there and get it. It is, I think, one more day for the Black Friday session, and then after that, we're going to be done with it, and nobody's going to be able to get access to it anymore. But now let's talk about trading, because I actually have also new surprises for you on the trading side. Let me just change all this stuff here for 1 second. I got to change the look and feel of everything. Hold on. Okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. Oh my God, what's going on over here, man? Just 1 sec. I gotta. Oh wow, what is? Oh, this is all vertical. What happened here? Everything is vertical. Oh, I think maybe it's both. Okay, hold on just 1 second. Sorry, guys, I'm just confused because okay, this. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, so that's that. And now let me just get my my screen up, because here's the cool part that I really want to share with you. Sec. I have a brand new version of the BFF that all of you guys who are on TradingView can get it. If you're on Wealth Charts, it's going to take a while. So, you know, it will take maybe the end of this week, maybe until next week. But is also this included the old? Sorry, is this also included in the old coaching package? No. The coaching package expires in 6 months, and you only get access to the indicators for 6 months. You can buy this plus the new version of coaching package, then you get the indicators for life, and you can extend your coaching. So that's the whole point. So it's really good. What's the difference between MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5? I would say it's too complicated a question. MetaTrader 4 is just an older version of MetaTrader versus MetaTrader 5. MetaTrader 5 is a new version of MetaTrader. You know, just Google it. Honestly, guys, if you're gonna ask, I'm not gonna answer questions on MetaTrader because that's a complete different discussion, which I will have with you guys when I trade MetaTrader, which will be during the European session. One of the cool things I want to tell you is that starting this week, I'm going to trade Tuesday, Wednesday, 2:30 till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the close of the New York session, European session, where we're going to trade both futures and CFDs. And there I'm going to introduce MetaTrader. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll talk about my tools, so you get a chance to really, really explore it, okay? But in the morning right now, we're trading futures, so we're going to just stick to our friends at Apex. Make sure that you guys get all the codes. Make sure you get the BK Save code on Apex, and that's it. I don't know. You mean the EA? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by the EA. Anyways, let me start, because I have a lot of really, really cool things to show you. Really, really fun stuff. So you're looking at the brand new BFF Dots version called AB Setups. You can look at it over here, right here. This is the one you want to download. So if you have access to TradingView and you're part of my coaching, or you're part of the lifetime, you can simply go back to BFF Dots and BFF Dots. After update, I got gold candle only. I don't know why. I don't know what that means. There's no gold candles in BFF Dots. I don't know what you did. I'll show you how the settings should be, and you can just copy my settings. The BFF Dot settings, you should have colored candles clicked. You should have pull away candles clicked. Keep the trend unclicked. Keep first trade only clicked. Keep A setup clicked. Keep A minus setup clicked. If you have all of this done, you should have no issues as far as everything set up. Okay, guys. Okay, great to have you. Great to have you here, Micheline. So let me explain to you what we did. You know, we talked a lot about, and by the way, I showed this off, but like, let me do this again. Hang on, let me find it. Just bear a second with me. We talked about the 1 minute hyper scalp setups, right? We talked about what as a matter of fact, maybe it's better if I just simply go through them with you just a little bit so you guys can see what my setups are in the thing. So 8-period SMA, 200-period SMA, right? The A setup, we're looking for 3 green signals. We want three things to happen. We want either a green dot or a white dot to occur. We want the slope to be green. We want the prior candle to be green. So all these things, everything is turning green. Slope is going from red to green. Now slope is green. The prior candle is green. There are buyers on the prior candle, and the current candle is a breakout candle. It's either white or green. It's a super duper A setup. Okay. Same thing on the short side, except we're going the other way around. Slope is red, prior candle is red, current candle is a dot candle. So everything is selling, selling, selling. We want to be sellers. That's the A setup short. A minus setup long is a white dot inside of a uptrend, inside of a green sloping trend, right? And the prior candle has to be green. So if you got that combination, prior candle, white slope, green, white dot, green slope, it's an A minus setup. And of course, that's the setup to the short side is the exact opposite. And then the B plus setup is just basically the retrace setup. And that's where you're looking for a sell-off that doesn't break the moving average, doesn't, I don't know if you can see this, doesn't break the moving average, stays green on the candle, stays up here, you're a buyer over here, and it goes back up. That's a B plus setup. So the cool thing is that every one of those setups, including like right now, is all has been coded into the indicator. You could choose to see only one setup, 2 setups, 3 setups, none setups. You can choose to see trend only structures. That means only A setups with trend. Or you could see first trade only, which is what I have. The reason I have first trade only is because, remember, if you well, let me show you what could happen. If you were to sort of say, let's say we're only going to do A setups, right? And I'm only going to do just even if I just do trend, but I'm going to lift the first trade only. What you see is a whole bunch of A's, right? Now that's a lot of setups, and it's overwhelming. It's almost too much information. It's really not. It's a little bit too much noise, less signal. So in order to just make sure that you want to have sort of the clarity of just the one single signal, you just have first signal only in the trend. But you can have it both. Everything is totally configurable, and you can trade it anywhere you like as far as you go. So my preference is just to trade the A and the A minus setups in both trend and counter trend. But I make a few personal adjustments. Like right now, we're looking at, let me make sure I'm in the right account. 84, okay, I'm in the 84 account, so I'm in 84 account. So we're looking at an A setup to the short side, right? Everything is kind of, really, really down. Oh, by the way, and I forgot to mention that this is only going to trigger A/B setups if the space between the two moving averages is wide enough. If we have enough volatility between the two moving averages, you see the space is here. I gotta sell. Here we go. Oh shit, that was so fast. Oh man, that was super fast. I'm sorry, guys. Let me show you. That was super fast. Look what happened. I sold 59. I bought 54 literally in 1 second. That just dropped like a stone. So okay, that was it was a great signal, but it was just a little too fast for us to deal with. So let me get rid of it. But anyways, you get the idea. The point being is that the indicator now will showcase the A setups, the A minus setups, the B plus setups, whatever you want. It will do it in a multitude of ways for you. And you can then, it's much easier to then simply choose to trade them or not trade them. Now I'll share with you how I trade them. I'll share with you how I trade them myself. Hold on a second. Okay. Just 1 sec, guys. Okay. Okay, guys, just give me just a sound check, mic check, screen check, because I just left the Instagram. I just want to make sure you guys are all hearing me, seeing me. All good? Give me a thumbs up in the room, please. Yes? No? Testing? Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Okay. So this is what I like to do. I mean, I like to trade the A's and the A minuses as my primarily dominant setups. I'm trading this obviously on a 1 minute chart, so you can see this. There's enormous amount. You see within the 2 hours, there's like 7 or 8 or probably 12 signals. But they're not all good signals. Especially like over the last hour, there was a lot of chop over here that got you. That would have clipped you. And what I do is the following. So let me show you what I do when things go badly. Let's see if we can get this bigger. Okay. Auto fits. Okay. So first of all, generally, well, no, that's not even the rule. That's fine. By the way, look at this reversal. Pump and dump on the open like we always see. Now we're going to just simply sit here at the 200, look for a reversal structures and see if they work. Let's imagine I took this counter trend A signal and it got stopped out because obviously it didn't work, right? What do I do after that? What I do after that is I do not take the next one over here because I want to wait for a successful trade without me. So in this particular case, I pass up on this one. This one is now not successful. I watch this one. This one actually is successful, right? I then commit myself to this one. Again, bad trade, doesn't matter. I stop. I do not commit again until this one succeeds. So this one succeeds. I don't have after that. Unfortunately, I don't have a counter trend trade, right? The way I'm trading this is I'm going to give the benefit of doubt to the signal. I'm going to take the signal, but if the signal fails me, I will then have the setup prove me correct, right? Prove to me that it's actually showing proper signals. And the reason why you want to wait is because, as you can see, especially in the counter trend structures, you can have a lot of failed moves, just sort of weak moves counter trend that don't really reverse. And what you're looking for, in order for a counter trend signal to really work, you want it to be, if it's going to work for 1, it's going to work for 2, it's going to work for 3. In other words, it's going to be trendy on the other side if it's going to work. And the same thing with the trend. The trend, of course, is much easier to trade. And frankly, the only thing you should be trading is trend, because it's a much easier trade to make. But in this particular case, this trend works, this trend works, this trend works, this trend works. This trend does not work, right? So once a trend does not work, I no longer take a trend signal until a new trend signal works. In this case, neither one of these works. So I basically, what I do is by forcing myself to wait, I don't compound my errors, right? I don't, once it stops working, I want the setup to begin working again before I re-engage with the setup. So in this case, both of these A's missed, and I passed them up. I didn't take those signals, right? Now here the A signal worked very well. So the next one I took, which is the one I took with you guys, was super fast. I absolutely was happy to take that because that worked very, very well, right? Similarly, this particular signal, this A signal worked, right? So then I took if I were to take the next one, this was the market opening, that would have worked also. There would have been a nice, clean, very easy 5-point pop. The other thing, no, Cuscus, I do not do support during live trading. And whatever you guys, again, I made this rule. I want to make it very, very clear. I'm ignoring all support questions. The support questions should be sent to me by email. I'll be happy to deal with them during the day. But it's unfair to everybody else as I'm trading to deal with whatever issues that you're having on your chart, okay? This is not good manners for people. I'm not here to do support. I'm here to do live trading with everybody. So again, the rule is I'm not even going to reply to any support questions unless I have multiple problems. 100 people tell me the same problem, and that's a global problem. Individual problems should be emailed to me, and I'll deal with them when I am ready, okay? Okay, so now I've lost my train of thought. So the bottom line is I really want the prior sample of the setup to have worked. If it's failed, I'm going to pass up. And I'm only going to take sort of success breeds success, failure breeds failure, right? If the setup is missing, it means that there is a transition in the marketplace, or the market is just completely uncertain. There's no continuity. No need to compound the failure, okay? So that is how I trade these things, to kind of amplify my chances. The other way to amplify chances, frankly, just to be trading trend, because trend is really, a much better setup. Also, look at the craziness here. Look at this volatility. Boom, boom, boom. We're just totally popping up and down in a really, really crazy fashion. One other thing I forgot to mention on the setup here is you will occasionally see these gold candles, right? What do these gold candles mean? These are candles that exceed the breakout session. So in my default setting, 40 points on NASDAQ is what I said. If the high to low is 40 points or more, that's a hyper volatility candle. And if it's a hyper volatility candle and it's a label, it's an A setup or a B setup, I then going to go to 10. I'm going to double my stops, double my targets, because that means there's so much volatility in the candle. This is a much easier way to read volatility. But remember, this is only if the candle itself is on a label, but the candle itself is not on this label, so therefore I was able to trade my regular numbers. Now, the last thing I was going to say is, the cool thing about like looking at all of these labels is you can see what setups succeed and what setups fail. And as you look more carefully on the structure, you realize you don't necessarily need the full 20 points of a stop. 15 points of a stop against a 5-point target is enough to find a successful trade. The successful trades will operate. In fact, most successful trades really operate within a 10-point stop range. It's kind of like the slippage is minimal, right? So we may eventually tighten our stops even more as we get more data. But for now, looking, having traded all of this, I think we can cut our stops to 1 to 3, which is already enormously better, right? Much, much better than 1 to 4 because it gives us much faster breakout structures. So right now, I'm looking over here. We're positive trend. We're A setup. Last A setup was positive, so we're gonna run this one if it stays. 16 seconds left. 11 seconds left. We'll see if this holds. But if it does, I'm gonna be a buyer here. Buyer. Right. I'm long here. 26 is, and boom, boom, boom. You see, the great thing about, by the way, the other thing that's interesting is that now within the first hour and a half of the market, when we have nice volatility, these things just snap up. Boom, boom, boom. We hit them. When I was trading earlier in the day from 7 to 9, where the volatility was much lower, it takes sometimes 10 minutes. You're stuck in trades. It's a much slower, much less interesting type of structure. But here you can just really, really kill it if you wanted to, just on targets. All right, let me see if there's any questions here. Everybody's super, super quiet here. Do we have any questions on what I've just showed you as kind of variations on the theme here? Are we all good? So far, I took 2 trades with you guys. Both of them were super fast, but I did set you up. I did tell you that I was going to be doing them. So be noteful. So far, both the A reds and the A greens have been successful. So either signal that comes up, we're going to be taking it if it comes up. I'm not doubling my size. No, the whole idea here is to beat it with accuracy. That's the whole idea of like the pause. If I get stopped out, I move to my second account, trade that. If I get stopped out, I move to the first account. Remember, with the 1 to 3, it's relatively easy to recover. The basic numbers should be 10 to 2. So in other words, you're doing 12 trades, 10 winners on a good day. Obviously, you could have bad days, but bad days should be no worse than break even. Maybe a tiny little loss. But if you're at 10 to 2 at a -3, that means you're +4, right? +4, and 10 to 2 is basically 2 hours worth of work. You're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's like 16 possible trades in the 2.5 hours that you see here. And obviously you're not going to take all of them, but if you divide that, let's imagine there's 8 trades per hour, which is, even if you say to yourself, there's 5 trades to an hour, 3 hours, 15 trades, within that range, it's a 10 to 2 type of a structure. So you could do quite well. I'm trading these are accounts that I'm trading that are eval. I'm trading the evals to try to run those to fund it, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm really trying not to get crazy. There is you could do some really interesting crazy stuff. Like when you have high confidence in the setup, you could actually go 10. You go 10 on the eval, make 1,000, right? Then you only need 3 trades to get funded. But of course, you are, at any given time, it's a Russian roulette type of a trade. Any trade that goes sideways blows out your whole account. But it's not at all unreasonable to think that you can make 10 trades. In the last hour, you had 4 winning trades, right? Easy. Short here that won, long here that won, short here that won, long here that won. So if you were doing 10 lots, you were funded. You could have gotten funded. You could get funded in an hour with this structure if you want to get large. And by the way, this is the perfect time to do it because Apex is 80, right? Let me put the link in here. Apex is 80 off, right? So you harvest like 5 or 6 accounts and you just dedicate, you say, I'm going to do like an hour's worth of trading and I'm going to just get myself, hopefully within that structure, you could get funded within 1 or 2, maybe it takes you 2 accounts to get funded, but it's still a very, very good ratio because then then you fund it in a day, and you can work on the payout accounts. Obviously, much more different structures and much more different payouts and speed, but still very, very cool. So a lot of different techniques you could use with this stuff that really makes it easy for you to do it. Does everybody like the ABC setups? Rather the A minus and B plus setups. We are just completely, as I thought we would be, completely bullish. You know how Kay was like, oh, I think it's, I don't believe those numbers. I'm like, I believe those numbers. There's a huge amount of consumer spend. Market is very bullish. I think we go higher. As the week goes by, because the economy is actually running super hot, even though people are bitching about the cost of living, it's absolutely true. Everybody has a job, and those people that have money are spending like crazy. Let's do a little poll. Let me see if you guys. Let me do a poll. Do you like? Oops. A minus, B plus setups. So one setup that I just personally I don't like, although a lot of people absolutely love it, is the B plus setup, which is where you get the purple dot against the green candle, and it's kind of like a beautiful retrace trade, which we may get set up here. But I'm happy to do it with you guys in an account just to show you. But that's sort of like not my strength. I really like the super breakout continuities. Can we go full on PA accounts? No, I don't understand what you mean by that. You mean do like 10? No, they won't let you do that. I mean, that's the whole point. Why? The A plus setup again, or it's just an A. It's not an A plus, just an A. There's no A pluses in life. There's only A's. First of all, the A setup, as I said, just it shows up automatically. But the A setup is this one. It's dot, prior candle green, slope is green. The first setup coming out of this, the first super green setup, the first super red setup on the trend change is the setup. That's what's happening. You see that? This is the first setup like that over here on the trend change. Oh, sorry. I make one exception. The algo, the indicator, will wait until there's wide enough range in the moving averages. So, like for example, if I was sort of like the setup would be over here, right? This would be the candle that, using the rules that I gave you. If you were just simply using those rules, that would be the setup. But I made the indicator be a little bit more. See, this is the one that you would want to. So it's green, slope is green, green dot. This would have been the takeout firm, but I made it so that the indicator waits until the slope gets wide enough, and then you take the structure, and then it works. It just forces you to be a little bit more patient for volatility. Oh, we have a sorry, I think I missed this. Sorry, I missed the setup, guys. The only problem with the 1 minute chart is I really got to be watching it very, very carefully. But this was a B plus setup. Let me show you. If you go in here, you just unclick these, you can see the B plus setup, and that would have been a perfectly one. See that? That's a B plus setup. It shows you would have been a buy here at 43. It would have been a 20-point move. It would have been a really, really nice clip. I think the thing about this that I realized is that the reason why I don't like the B plus setups, the retrace setups, is because they really are only good during the North American session. When the retraces of the North American session really create big bounces. You need, like, everything about our setup works best when you have lots of participation, right? When you have less, you got to be a lot more selective about what you want to be doing as far as the setups go. But what's cool is that this really shows you everything developing in real time, so you don't have to try to guess, is it a setup or not a setup? Is it working, not working? You can choose to ignore it, but at least you know that it's a legit setup happening in real time as you're trading. And now there's nothing going on here. All right, this is a little bit of a fuck around setup, but it's kind of and you see how fast I was? The reason why I took this is it's in the same vein, of what I talked about, which is green candle, green breakout dot. I'm betting on continuity. If you were to sort of set this up, if you set yourself up to just A setups, not first trade only, just A setups. Let's say we do trend only, just to select myself. You see how that would have been, all of this would have been great signals. For those of you guys who like to trade super hyper strong trend, if you go into this modification, right, you really could just kill it. You could just go boom, 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 boom. And if you like to press your trades, this is like a super great structure for you to do this. I'm always very, very cautious on all my trades, but it doesn't mean that I don't see these setups and I can't take advantage of it. Like this was a nice clean setup that we took advantage of. How do you guys like trading with it? I mean, do you guys like the help? Also, who's new in the room here who would like a more in-depth explanation? Temtem likes it. That's nice. What max size is allowed for PA accounts? It's not the max size. I think 5 minis, like you're allowed to do half the full size, I believe. I'm not sure. You have to look at the rules. But it's more like, the problem is you're only allowed to make $750 per trade. And like if you do a 10 lot on this thing, it's $1,000 per trade. It's not that they take away the profit. It's just that you then have to run your profit to a bigger number in order to get paid out. You should just look at the rules. I don't want to. It's a coaching question. I'm happy to discuss this in coaching, but I don't want to get into all the funkadelic details of doing max size. This kind of a structure that I showed you, where you like do 10, 10, 10, is really only optimized for eval accounts. Trying to get quickly paid out is always a sucker game. They know that you want to try to get quickly paid out, and that's why you always fail. You have to accept the fact that payouts is a much longer journey, whereas funding could be a short journey. Hey, do we have an A set up here to the downside? Why not? Let's see. All right, we'll see. If I get a red dot here, I think I should have a. Oh no, is this trend only? Maybe this is why I'm only trend only. Shit, that's right. Trend only. Okay, this was a setup. See, like this is a counter trend setup that was false. Like this would have, if I shorted this 41, it would have stopped me out on this move. And that's why I say you kind of want to trade with trend more than with counter trend. With counter trend, I'm always very, very more cautious with my setups. I may take like the second signal here, or I may, if this thing kind of comes down, like if this thing gives me like the next red dot, if I get the next red dot, I may be willing to trade that because that shows me a more significant weakness on the counter trend. So like with counter trend, you could almost use this as a suggestion rather than as a a direct signal. Oh, siren, guys. Siren. I think that was a NYPD. Can I quick compare? It's like comparing apples and oranges. Apex is futures only. There's completely different models on the CFD. I would say sort of like if you want to day trade and scalp, Apex is the product. If you want to do more positional trades with really great granularity, then you want to trade think markets. It's less. They both are great. It's just a matter of what kind of style of trading you want to do. And sometimes it's good to have, and also if you want to, there's also a difference in products. If you want to trade Forex is only a CFD product. If you want to trade gold, you can actually trade gold in both pretty well. Let's see if we get a green setup here. So green dot, but is the slope green? Kind of hard to see. Slope is still red. You see the slope is still a little red here, like green to red. If this thing explodes higher, turns the slope green, gives us a dot, that's going to give us a signal to trade. Actually, why is it not giving us a signal to trade? That's interesting. Why is it? Oh, because the slope is red. The slope is not. Did I have my settings wrong? Oh, that's wild. I wonder why it's not giving me a signal. Oh, because the slope keeps turning red. That's why. All right. Whenever you question the computer is always right. So we are a little bit chunky at this 380 level. Do we take out the 400? It'll be interesting to see. I think we're going to run it. We'll see. But right now, you can barely see this, but the slope continues to be just oscillating between red and green. And now there we go. We finally get the dot. We finally get the move. Let's see if this is going to take us out. I'm going to be if this stays, and the big thing is if it just goes away, that would be a trade for us. But it's clearly very chunky at the 80 level, and it needs to clear all this overhead in order for us to take the 400. So we'll see. It just keeps popping. It keeps pushing. And we're being very patient until we get the signal to go. Looks like we're double topping a little bit here. And by the way, the AB setups are not the only setups you can do. You can easily use the dots to just trade very classic technical analysis. If you get two purple dots like this, we don't have it right now, but if this was a purple dot, that'd be a very decent signal for a double top. And if you had a double top signal, you could have easily shorted this. This just kind of escaped. I mean, we see that there's a huge amount of chunkiness at this 380 level. market just now. Here we go. Here's the thing. And we can easily do all that. These are all there's 100 different setups that we can do from dots. These are just simply curated ones to help you isolate potential ideas, but by no means are they the only ideas that you could trade. We're still in a tug of war between the buyers and the sellers right now. Last 10 minutes has just been a 380, 340 trade because people are trying to figure out if they want to pop it higher or this is going to exhaust itself. So we'll see. A few seconds left. Kind of hanging. It's kind of like it's like a battle between the green dots and the red dots. Like which way does the candle? It'll be interesting to see if this turns red, you're gonna have a lot of confidence. It's a little bit of a double top, and you could definitely short it. But so far, we don't have a signal. See, starting to show us a double purple dot, but they keep buying it. They just keep buying that that bottom, so they can't stick the landing. Until they do, no point in trying. Guys, by the way, marathon on Wednesday because we got PMI services Wednesday. We don't have NFPs this week. That's going to be the big event. So we'll have fun. Maybe we'll trade it like 8 to 11, maybe even 7 to 11. I think maybe even 7 to 11 if I can do it. So we'll do like 4 hours. There'll be a lot of setups, and maybe I'll even trade like gold with you guys. I'm gonna load up on a whole bunch of eval accounts. I suggest you guys do the same thing so that we can just sort of trade lots of different ideas during the marathon. I can switch around and play around with it. Was the coaching add-on to the, so coaching is just an extension, right? So you're in coaching right now, Ben. It's going to expire for you like in 6 months from whenever you started. But if you wanted to extend it from your what do you call it, whatever if you wanted to extend it from your expiry time, you could extend it. That's what makes it nice. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking English today. Okay, we got an A setup here, starting to break out. Remember I said that 85? Let's see if this is gonna go for us. We're gonna try this. If it holds, we got to make sure that the dots hold, because this is a very, very delicate candle. I don't want it to disappear on me. All right, I'm long. Ah, shit, I'm in the wrong. I'm in the 83 account, and let me show you. Sorry, I'm in the wrong count. I bought the 83 account. Let's see if this is gonna work. No, it kind of faked me out here. It was a tough trade. Let's see if it can hold. It made that burst up and then just died on. All right, so now what's interesting is this is interesting. This is like a pretty clear double top now. Now I'm going to go the other way. I am going to go the other way in the 84 account, because this is, it sort of faked this out. Let's see if I'm right. I'm going to go to 84 account so you guys can see it. 14 seconds left. This is really a double top formation on their part. Let's see if I'm right. Sell. All right, I'm short here. Let's see if I get the move. Boom, you see how easy that was? And then and then on top of that, I got the ace. So yes, it's not fun to get stopped out, but you can learn a lot from the stop out. I made the bet here was that they were going to push it higher, but this was just the final exhaust of the bulls, and they died. And the double top here made it much easier, to be able to see that trade, and flip itself around. What's it doing now? We're still consolidating. We're still trying to figure out, the tug of war is not over, but in that little short battle, you could see who's going to be winning, who's not, as things develop. Now I'm going to go back to the 83 account. Sorry guys, I'm switching around, and I missed my opportunity here. This was 42. Yeah, this would have made my target. Okay, never mind. Not a trade. I'm going to wait patiently. If I get a red dot on this one, then I'm going to feel confident this is a downtrend, and I'm going to trade that. But until I get that second red dot, no need to get churned out on this kind of a double support basis over here. ISM, nobody cares. Well, the only reason why I think ISM services could be a big deal, Nico, is because it's the only employment component that we get to see, right? We don't get to see non-farm payrolls this month. So whatever their employment component is could be a mover. You may be right that it may not have an impact, but I think that, I think Wednesday is going to be a good day regardless to kind of trade, because there should be some volatility risk here. So here, we can see the classic double top, right? Which is what I thought was going to happen. We got a little bit faked out on it, but managed to take advantage of it on the second try. We got this little fake out move here. The market will sometimes do that to us. And now we're just kind of watching, because really what you're looking for is, was this a consolidation? We're going to make fresh highs. And if we're going to make fresh highs, this next run probably is going to work. So if we get a whole bunch of greens, we definitely should join that the green move, because I think it's probably going to work. If on the other hand this kind of starts to die out and give us a red dot, it's very likely it's going to start to curl over. This was a double top that is legit. So far, the reds are winning. Slope is down. We're starting to to move to the downside. We'll see where the markets want to take it. I haven't looked at Bitcoin or anything else in the space to see if risk is kind of stabilized or not. They're going to try to make another run for the gates. All right, where am I? Am I on the 83 account? Yeah, I'm on the 83 account. All right, we're going to try this. If they hold it, I'm going to see if this is going to work. 42 seconds left. Pretty choppy conditions here. We of course do really, really well when we have these sustained rallies to the upside or sustained rallies to the downside. And it's very, very important for us to not get too impatient until those rallies begin to evolve. Like right now, just looking at the market, purple dots are starting to dominate to the downside. Even though I don't have an A-B setup, if this gives me a purple dot, I'm probably going to short it because this looks to me like we're starting to roll over here, and I'm happy to take that trade. Like I said, there's 100 different ways you could trade the dot setup. This is just a pure classical, technical analysis way of doing it. Assuming this holds. If this is just testing, then it's not worth our time. Right. Short here. You see how that? I mean, it's super fast, right? It held. I took it, and it was a super easy trade. And it's all because you can see how the dots narrate the price action. They tell you. I'm hoping you guys. One of the things that I'm hoping to do with you guys as we get deeper into lives is that now that we have the dots really refined, we can begin to read them a lot better, a lot quicker. And of course we can, we can always make more money, but that's step 2. Step 1 is to be able to actually read them as far as timing goes. Anybody short that with me? Anybody take that short with me? Yes, no? Let me know. But you see how like this was developing, and I was just able to it really makes it easy for you to, this was the third dot, lower dot, double top, boom, weakness, you kind of hit it. Adam hit it, Cheryl hit it, Ben missed it. Don't worry, if you missed it, it's not a big deal. It's more important that you kind of understand the mechanics behind it. But this gives us, lots and lots of different opportunities. I think, what have I done with you guys? I think I did about 6 trades today. I already forgot. Only one of them was negative. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's where we want to be. We want to be in that sweet. I mean, in a perfect world, I want to be 7-1. In a great, Roger Federer way of trading, or I don't even know who, I think Roger Federer would have to be the GOAT of all trading. I want to be 8-1, but we're not anywhere in Roger Federer mode at this point. You're looking for the label? The label isn't going to show up. The label already showed up. Remember, the label, I have the label as as just a first trade only. So it's once the first label shows up, there's going to be no new labels until the slope changes direction. Which is fine. And as I said, labels, counter trend, this is all counter trend labels. You take them with a little bit more grain of salt than you do trend labels, right? Use a different setup. But some different setups very often synchronize into the same trade. That's the funny part. Good analysis usually results in the same action, regardless of how you come at it, from which direction you come at it. Adam says, what is that AA B plus setup? The B plus setup is a retrace setup, as I showed over here. Here's the B plus setup is this one. It's we have like a purple dot green candle or a white dot red candle. You just you're buying the dip, selling the rip within the trend itself. This actually, by the way, sort of if you wanted to see, if we just if I just show a B plus setup, this is a B plus setup. This is a red candle, does not clear the moving average, white dot. You shorted this. This is a kind of a retrace move. And that obviously worked very, very nicely, right? So, both of these B plus, as I said, B plus setups work much, much better during the North American session, where you have these huge waves, counter waves. Like value propositions work. Ironically enough, this kind of an interesting thing about trading. Value trades. So a value trade is where you're buying a dip or selling a rip, right? You're betting on the fact that the dominant trend is going to reestablish itself, and you're buying cheaply or selling dearly. So those type of trades work much, much better in high volatility environments, which is usually during the North American session when I have much bigger ranges than they do in these tiny little ranges when they give you lots of false signals. So that's kind of very, very cool. I hadn't thought about this because I was like, I really don't. I was looking at B plus, and I'm like, this what a waste of my time. But it's actually not a waste of time during the North American session. And this is a B plus setup right here. It's just not showing up because I only have first trade on. But if I take first trade off, you'll see it. You'll see it. The B plus. Well, now it disappears. But if this thing comes up like here, see, it's another B plus setup right now. And if it sticks, we could trade it. But it doesn't seem to be sticking. Oh, no. Oh, sorry, I missed it. It was just a little too fast. It kind of stuck, and then I missed it. All right, we'll let that go. But this would have been viable. Like if you shorted this 38, went to 45, and now it's like 31. It would have easily done. I should have taken it. It's because I haven't been trading the B plus setup a lot that my timing is off. And you see, it is so much of this is timing. So much of this is just being able to to hit the ball off the bounce, to use a tennis analogy. And that just takes practice and also focus. Like there's somebody in the room, like I think Christopher trades only B plus setups. It's all he does. And because he does that, he's like 25 out of 26, super accurate on these. These are good setups. It's just that I didn't realize that they were really good setups during the North American session. When you get these big fat, the way you want to think about this is you got these big fat golden areas, where the separation of moving averages is really nice and wide. That's when these things really shine as opportunities. When you get this little tiny ass setups, they're not really that good. Like in here, it actually worked. In here, it actually worked. You see, because this is pretty wide on the moves. But overall, I mean, actually, I can't even honestly say. It's just that I myself have. I think it's because they are not as frequent. That I really, it doesn't really give me just like if you were short here, 63, you go up to 71. So you still more than enough room to make money. Definitely makes money. Definitely makes money. Definitely makes money. Everyone actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 7 in a row that they were good. It's just that they're very interspersed. You have to be super patient to trade the B pluses. Maybe you just have an account that does nothing but trade B pluses, and you could do very, very well. I mean, it takes. There's lots of space between these setups. So if you are looking for trades, you're kind of not focused on it. I'm trading with TradeAvate and TradingView, yes, because this latest version has not been updated for wealth charts. I'm going to talk to Rob today. We'll see if we can get the the full update. I'll trade with wealth charts. I mean, it's not like you can't trade wealth charts because as long as you understand the dots, you could trade this. I was really going to short this too, by the way. I was like going to short this purple because it looked like it was a nice clean move. It was super fast for me because I'm talking. That's at 24. That would have been an easy clean 5. You know, I mean, the great thing about North American session is there are so many easy, quick setups here, especially if if you like me, like to go with flow. If you just trade flow, meaning that you're not trying to be an idiot and buy every dip, but actually trade the momentum to the downside, momentum to the upside that's showing up. It really is working. It would have really, really worked. All right. Any other questions, guys? I mean, I threw a lot at you today. We'll go through most of this tomorrow, but I think there's a lot of interesting setups. Let me see where my settings are. There's a lot of execution marks. So from when I started trading with you guys, this worked, right? We didn't do any other ones. We could have done the B plus setups here. Could have done a lot. Could have done a few more. There's like a lot of interesting setups that we could have done here. Absolutely. So super cool. Here's a B plus setup setting up, but now see how now it disappears as it gets a little bit greener. You see? Kind of cool. Okay. Don't forget. I think Apex expires today, right? Tonight. So I'm gonna get a couple more evals tomorrow. So we'll trade like lots of different strategies. I'll trade gold. We'll play around with everything we can. Get a lot of these structures really down to a science. But hopefully you guys like them, because there's just so many good ideas and they come at you super fast. Like we've had about 6 trades in just the last hour. All of them are working our way. This is in this account, and then if I go into the 84 account, yeah, boom, 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 and I really was very selective here. I could have done more. Anyways, hope you guys liked the session. I hope you guys like the new improvements. I think they just give us more and more ideas to be able to trade. And the takeaways, I think, is, first of all, B pluses work pretty much better than we think they do. You just have to be patient with them. Big range makes it a lot easier. Big range makes it a lot easier to trade continuity, as long as you really, really stay focused on who's the dominant side. And then clearly right now the selling is a dominant side. If you just sort of sold the red dots, you were in good shape for the most part, right? So that's it. Okay, everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then don't forget, Wednesday we're going to go hard for 4 hours. We're going to really, really trade hard. I bet this is going to be another good sell. Yeah, I'll stay with you. I'll stay with you to let's see if we can trade this one. What is this? I'm on the 83 account. Let's see if I'm 83. Nope, it went away. Went away. All right. Let's see. No, it's went away. I'm not. All right, sure. And boom, boom, boom. I always love doing final winning trade. That hit it. That hit it nicely. You see, just bang it, baby, bang it. In a good way. In a good way. All right, awesome. All right, thanks, guys. Actually, had a pretty good day, man. It's a pretty good day for me. One of these evals is at 51,000. I started this morning at 50, so that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna buy some more accounts. You guys do the same thing. We come back tomorrow. We're gonna hit some more, and we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to trade gold with you guys. I know I said I want to be focusing on one thing, but now that I got the A, B, C labels coming up, it makes it a lot easier. And I have to, even if I miss them, the labels are kind of there to pre-prep me. So we will be able to maybe trade both gold and NAS simultaneously, make it a lot easier. Okay. All right, everybody. I see everybody later. Thank you. Great to be back. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.